Hello, everybody. I hope Thursday went well for everyone, and I wish you all a very happy Aloha Friday. Anyway, we'll start off with the New York Stock Exchange. As we all know by now, the New York Stock Exchange was up 0.07% the day before. If you look, you can see that volume was lower than the session before. Obviously, the same on the S&P 500, which was up 0.20%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up 0.11% on lower volume. The Nasdaq was up 0.75% on lower volume, and then the Russell 2000, once again, the relative strength behemoth, up 1% on also lower volume, even though you can't see it here. I looked in the daily graphs. Now, with that Russell 2000 retaking the 50-day moving average, I just recently added a TWM, and what I'm going to go ahead and do is my entire TWM position, the entire position, I'm going to go ahead and half it. I should have stuck with SDOW as it was the lagging index, the leading index to the downside, if you will. However, I thought that the Russell 2000 would indeed play catch up, and that sadly did not happen. So I'm going to go ahead and take half that position off, and I'll just work with the SDOW from here on out. So if we continue to weaken, I'm going to focus on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But overall, right now, we have lower highs and lower lows in all of the indexes, but still on an intermediate term, we're range bound here on the NASDAQ, on the Russell 2000, the New York Stock Exchange, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Obviously, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average going back to around May even, because if we just go from here to here, we can see that from May the 2nd to August the 29th, we've moved a whopping 0.06%. So just keep that in mind. For the action today, TWM, that was our only partial sell. I only have one actionable long, and that's Yelp. Yelp basically came inches. I was going to go ahead, and my original buy stop was right above 57.02. It was set at 57.03. However, with the move today on above average volume and the relative strength line showing some relative outperformance to the S&P 500, I'm going to go ahead and remove that buy stop order and convert it to a market order to go off tomorrow morning. Now, it's not going to be 4% like FLDM, but remember, FLDM's removal of a buy stop was because it was going to basically trigger if it kept on moving higher, and that's a legitimate end-of-day signal, the BOP volume surge with the breakout. And obviously FLDM worked today. So Yelp, since it doesn't have an end-of-day signal, if it would have been a pocket pivot point signal today, and let's say that BOP at the bottom of the screen would have rose a little bit higher, then I'd be a little bit more, maybe we can push 3%, but this is not the end of day signal. It's just a removal of the buy stop. And speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and add a buy stop on AEGR. You can see it is a stock under very strong, steady accumulation since the October lows. You can see the tight base it's forming here, and you can see it's a high price stock, so it's of high quality. ORLY, also I'm going to put a buy stop slightly above the recent highs here in August. So ORLY will get a buy stop, and then an IPO that's going to get a buy stop. And actually, I really kind of want to buy it now, and everything in my instinct tells me that I should be going long. However, I'm going to go ahead and use those levels overall. So I'm going to be basically, my buy stop is going to be right around, I would say, the 73 level. So right around the 73 level, that's where that will trigger my buy. But DATA, I definitely want to add a buy stop on that one. So that's it. And quick reminder also, if all of my buy stops, let's say the market continues to rally higher and we take off our hedges. If I take off my hedges, then I'll have cash available. But let's say that my hedges remain on because the Dow's weak and some of these buy stops start triggering. I'm going to more than likely be fully invested, and that means upcoming long positions. Even if I say 2%, 5%, I may not even have like 0.5% of account capital. So we're basically maxed out here on the long side with about 15 to 20% of the account in hedges. And so we'll see what the market wants to do on Friday. Have a great Aloha Friday, everyone, and enjoy your upcoming long holiday weekend.